What's up, everyone? Paulie here in the HardDrive studios. I am very excited to be sitting down today with the one and only Jamey Jasta of Hatebreed, man. Thanks for coming in today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
We've been talking shit since before even the cameras got started rolling, so I'm hoping that we're going to maybe put that in like a B-roll or something.
Don't repurpose that in any way.
We'll keep just the nuggets of it. But very excited to have you here, man. There's a brand new solo Jasta record on its way. It's coming out December 13th, which is right around the corner. First of all, it's been about 2 years since, the last one. And that seems like a really quick turnaround for you, considering how many other projects you're involved with. Was this, were these songs that were already in the works when the first album dropped, or how did it start off?
Yeah. I started, I don't know if it was something around the tour, the Jasta and Friends tour, when I had Howard and Dino and Kirk and everybody come with me. But it was like something clicked in me where I just thought, man, our time is so fleeting. Like we started looking at, wow, it's been 10 years since we did this. It's been 15 years since we did that. It's been 20 years with this. I mean, when I first saw Fear Factory, it was literally 25 years ago or something. And I thought, and I was breaking Dino's balls. I was going, you should have like 10 Assassino records out. Like what's the holdup? And then we started talking about all the different projects we've done and the different labels we worked with and stuff. And really what it came down to was, one, our fear of releasing too much stuff at one time, two, the red tape with the previous labels and stuff. And that's understandable because they don't want you, if your main band is doing something, they don't want you to do like a project that might confuse people or whatever. But then also, I feel like just seeing the difference in fans from doing that track with Howard, it was like amazing to me that no one had heard of me. They didn't know Hatebreed. They didn't know who I was. Like, they didn't know the podcast, anything. And I thought, this is so awesome that there's just like a new metal and hardcore fan. They're born every day and they're finding out about the music, and now they're learning about other artists, and they don't know that I booked, Howard's first band in 1996 or whatever, and that we've known each other. And so people started liking that record, and they looked up the old record where I did the songs with Randy from Lamb of God and Zakk Wylde and stuff. And I thought,
was 2011, right? That record.
Yeah. And some of the reviews on that record were really bad, and I never take reviews to heart. But at that time, I thought, well, shit, if this is how I'm going to get treated, like, why am I going to, bust my ass to put all this blood, sweat, and tears into a record if some idiot's going to just like write this terrible review in a magazine? Then I started thinking that's fear-based, right? Like, that's like, why should someone keep me from releasing a song that's a different style? And I think, with the track that I did with Zakk Wylde, that was a track that was going to end up on somebody else's record. I just wanted to prove that I wasn't just writing hardcore music. So as the Kingdom of Sorrow records came out, and as the Hatebreed sound sort of evolved, this stuff that I had, for years sitting in the hard drive, it started to not have a home. And I thought, all right, I need to do this now. It doesn't do me any good sitting in the hard drive. I can collaborate with all these artists that I admire, and now it's going to be here. So,
it's funny you say that people hadn't heard of you. It's because to me, like, as a fan of heavy music, you're one of the most visible people ever, because you're just so involved in everything. So it blows my mind that there's somebody who doesn't know who Jamey Jasta or Hatebreed is out there. It's insane.
Well, it's a whole new generation of kids, and in the 2010s, right? Which, if you think about the music that's become popular since 2009, when Hatebreed did the self-titled album, until now, and 2010 when we did the Kingdom of Sorrow album, there's 2 or 3 waves of bands just in that one decade, right? Yeah. And so you go, wait a second, this is, and someone was just telling me about the band Bring Me the Horizon. They made a switch from being like a heavy band to being sort of a more radio friendly band in 2010. Mm-hmm. And I looked that up, and it was true. And I thought, just think about all the kids that's their gateway band. What happens is they search other bands, and they find Suicide Silence, and they find Killswitch Engage, and then they see Suicide Silence covered Hatebreed, and Killswitch Engage, former singer, does a song with the guy from Hatebreed, and they have these weird ways, these weird gateways that they find other artists, and it's amazing. I really feel like it's changed my outlook on everything. It's like we're living in there's less gatekeepers. Yes. It used to, like, I remember being crushed when they said MTV2 is not going to play the Hatebreed video. That was part of the reason why I wanted to be the host of the show. Yeah. So I was like, well, if I can't get my video played, I got to get in there somehow and try to change the system so that they don't look at us as just this screaming noise, right? Yeah. And so now, there's less. You can put a song up on SoundCloud. You can put, you can pay a guy. I mean, shout out to Paul. He did the video with Howard. We did it in our jam spot, and it's got like 2 million streams. It's got like 500,000 on YouTube, and I've sold out of every pressing of the CD. I did it totally DIY. So that really started making me think, like, wow, it's exciting. You don't have to go to a label and say, I mean, I love all the labels, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But you don't have to go and, pitch your project to somebody who might not be at that label in a year or two. Mm-hmm. And I've had that happen where, with the Hatebreed DVD, they wanted to cut the budget on that. And luckily, we were able to get out of that deal and go to E1, and E1 gave us what we needed to do to make that. And that DVD went #1. And that previous company could have had a #1 DVD, but they didn't believe. They just see the name and they go, this is crazy. This guy's yelling at me. He's wearing a bandana. What am I going to do? So now it's like, it's exciting, man.
It's an exciting time. I'm always excited to hear about new music from you. And I feel like you're one of those guys who's just like constantly creating new music. I mean, is there ever a time where you're just like hitting a wall and you don't know what to do, or does it just keep coming forth?
There was a time when we were finishing the last Kingdom record where we were both sort of like, Kirk was showing me some riffs and I had a bunch of riffs, and I loved the riffs, but I wasn't able to write words. Like I was pulling from other ideas and stuff, and then I forget how long it took after that till we did Divinity of Purpose. Maybe a year or two, but I felt like I kind of went into like a year or two slump. Mm-hmm. And then once we got into do Divinity of Purpose, we got on Razor and Tie, which was, a new situation for us, and that was exciting because they had they were doing really well with Shadows Fall and POD and a bunch of bands, and I thought, all right, this is going to be the one where they're really going to believe in us, they're really going to push us. So I dumped all, I thought I really worked the most hard on the lyrics for that album. And then when that album sort of kind of, now people are liking that album, which is weird because at that time
it was just ahead of its time, that's all.
I don't know about that, but thank you. But so then I thought, all right, if this is going to be the cycle, is it going to be like a one Hatebreed record, a Crowbar record, then we do a Kingdom record, then we do a Project record? I said, then I need to really try to stay inspired. And I don't know what it is, but it comes to me like when I'm tired, when I'm exhausted, when I'm cranky, and then I got to get up, pick up the guitar, pick up the phone or the pad or whatever, and then instead of just going back to bed or doing what I'm doing, I made sure that I just put the ideas down. And then when was that? That was back. So we did Concrete Confessional 2016, and then I did Lost Chapters 1 in 2017, and I still had 30 songs on the hard drive. So yeah, I mean, I told Zeus last night, our producer who's producing the Hatebreed record, that's why my voice is a little shot right now, because I've been singing every day. I've been screaming my head off every day. There's no singing on the Hatebreed record. There's some little parts of me screaming on the Jasta record, but there's none on the Hatebreed record. So, he does scoring for films. And he said, oh, while you were tracking, I had this idea for a synth part for this thing I'm working on. I said, did you record it? He goes, no, and I lost it. I said, no, you got to stop and do it. That's what I did. That's why I'm able to keep these songs, sort of building, and then we change them around, and I'll hear, when I sang that melody for Matt Heafy, I thought this would be, it sounded pretty good when I did it, and I don't use auto-tune. I really try to nail the takes, but I know people aren't used to hearing me sing like that. So I thought, well, why don't I have Matt Heafy do it? And then when I sent it to him, he recorded it that day. The guy is so pro. So something like that got me so inspired where I'm like, man, this guy's so pro. He's killing it. He's telling me about Twitch. He's doing all this stuff. So then I just kept it rolling. I'm like, we're putting it out December. I can't be afraid of what people think. I gotta just do what I want to do.
Well, let's talk about that song, "The Contagion Is You," that you did with Matt. So you're writing all of the music here. You're writing all the lyrics too. Like, is he bringing any contribution besides his voice? Is he co-writing any of that, or?
I co-wrote that one with Charlie Belmore, who I co-wrote a lot of stuff for the Dee Snider record with.
Oh, man.
And
That was a great album too.
Thank you. Yeah, and that was a track that I thought, Charlie did this kind of like lead thing, and that was one I thought, all right, any of these awesome metalcore singers will nail this. But really, Matt, I was interested in working with because we had just played a show with Hatebreed and Trivium in the Czech Republic, and like that's another example of, like, sure, our hardcore guys were there and some of our metal guys that seen us with Slayer and seen us with Creator and stuff, but the Trivium crowd, like a good portion of them, they had no clue who we were. And I was like, this is great. And then they went and bought merch, and I was out there, doing my best, like trying to understand the Czech language, and everybody was so cool. And it was young kids. And I was like, this is amazing that there's new people that don't know who we are. So, and then I watched his rapport with the crowd, and I thought, this kid, he's so talented. Like, I gotta work with him. And he's like, yeah, dude, I'd love to. I'd be honored. And it was literally done. He was so pro. It's great.
That's incredible. I mean, you're looking at the guests on this record. It's like a who's who of like the best in metal and hardcore music. I mean, and I'm sure these are all just like friends of yours. You call them up and just like, was there anybody that you had to like work to get on this, or was everyone pretty much an instant yes as soon as you made the call?
Thanks, man. No, just everybody wants to hear the track first. Right. Obviously, they don't want to agree. So that was really promising when Corpse Grinder hears the track and he's like, dude, I'm totally into it. I'm going to go this weekend. There's a studio in Tampa. Shout out to Master Sounds in Tampa and everybody there. They got him right in. And like, George is great. We've toured Hatebreed and Cannibal Corpse. We've toured a bunch of times. And I only want the artists that if they like the song, they want to do it. Right. And so like with Max, Max doesn't have a cell phone. And
he's the one guy.
Yeah, and Max and I have we toured back in '98, but we didn't ever really hang or, and I had this sort of, I don't want to say like different view of him, but I just didn't really like know him that well. Mm-hmm. But he's part of the reason why I do what I do. Like that KSAD and Arise were like, those records changed my life. I mean, it's like, I'll get emotional talking about it just because I listened to those records like when I had nothing going for me, and I was like, if I could do this one day. And I remember seeing them and seeing the whole place moshing, going crazy, and it was everybody. It was like punk rocker dudes, metalheads, hardcore guys. I was like, this is incredible. This is a band that's like, they've transcended thrash and death metal. Everybody liked them. And so, when we got to do the Soulfly tour in '98, that was like our first sort of like big tour where, coming from the punk and hardcore scene, we weren't ready for that. It was all kind of new to us. We're really used to like selling the shit out of the van. Right, yeah. And they're like, you can't do that. You got to go in there and you got to match the price. We were like, what? So now being friendly and staying in touch and just, sending him the track and then hearing like, yo, he loves the track. I was like, when I got it, I had chills. Like I was freaking out. I was like, this is incredible. It's exactly how I pictured it. So to have that happen where you envision something and then it comes to fruition, I mean, that's why I hope people hear this and they can do the same thing for themselves, whether it's a poem you wanted to write, or I don't even care if it's a project at home that has been sitting around. It's like, get it out while you can and while you're passionate about it, because I see a lot of people on the road that they're over it. It's a tough business, and they go, and I've worked with artists that, the projects never came to fruition because they're like, and I'm not like that. I'm like, I want to work with people that want to make shit happen now. Right. And so that's every guest on this album. They made it happen.
I mean, you got another song with Howard Jones again. You got a song with Jesse Leach too. I mean, Killswitch is well represented in the album. It's like, every track that comes out of this thing, I hear it. I'm just like, this is so good, and I can't wait to hear the full thing because I'm just very, very excited about it.
Thank you so much.
But you also recorded a Megadeth cover for this one as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me about doing that, man. Like, was that something you've been wanting to do for a while, or?
It was something that I've been thinking about. You know, that's my favorite thrash song of all time. I think it's the best thrash song of all time. And I've said this on stage when Hatebreed played with Megadeth, and I had guys in Metallica shirts giving me the finger and shit, and then I had like hate mail, and I said, look, there may be bigger selling Metallica albums, and there may be better albums as a whole, like with more bangers start to finish, but there isn't a better banger to me. Like that's the number one, because it shows everything. It shows the progression and the dynamics and the sort of future of metal music, but still is thrash. And I knew that I could pull it off because I would sing it, you know, in my style, but I would ride the note. And I thought, I gotta get these guys to do it. I knew Nicky and Charlie, who played on the Dee Snider record, I knew they both had the chops to pull it off. But there's a reason why a lot of bands don't cover Megadeth. It's very, very hard. It's very humbling, and it's extremely hard. So I didn't want to do something we weren't going to be able to recreate live. So they just kept doing it. And once they got it, they called Joey Concepcion, who's like a young shredder kid who a lot of people are going to hear about this kid. He's already filled in for Arch Enemy. He's filled in for Sanctuary. He's like the next Zakk Wylde or the next Marty Friedman. I mean, the kid's incredible. So we got him on the track, and we did it, and then I sat on it, man. I was scared. I was like, I don't know, you know, people might not like it, whatever. And then I'm like, fuck this. Why am I scared? Like, what do I have to lose? Like, who cares about comments? Like, but then I sent it to Mustaine, and I hope he's okay with me saying this, but I got this like really glowing response, and I was just so, I can't tell you, like, that's been my main motto for this whole project is like, if you don't know them personally, don't take it personal. Right. So the people I care about their opinions are my peers, the elder statesmen in metal, the people that kick down doors for me to do what I do, like Mustaine. And so when he sent that back, and I sent it to Ellefson too, and he said, I forget what he said, but I just knew that we were onto something, and that it was doing the song justice.
To get the thumbs up from those guys is definitely the signal you want to go forward. You know, it's just it's so exciting to see, you know, all the work that you've been involved in. You mentioned the Dee Snider album, you know, For the Love of Metal, that he put out. I think that was last year, and
yeah, like
to be involved in all these things, you must have like the most amazing time management skills ever. Like, do you have any downtime? Is that something you ever even need, or are you just constantly working on something new?
It's a problem, yeah, but it's a good problem to have. I am going to take some time off soon because I'm nearing the point of being burnt out. But again, it's like when you feel channeled and you have these ideas coming to you, like the different producers and engineers I work with, they'll laugh at me because they'll hear me. I'll play the voice recorder and I'll sing a whole song. I'll do the riffs, I'll do the melody, I'll do the words, and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Dude, it's coming to me right now." Like, or I'll hear something and then I'll get inspired by something and then I'll make it musical. Like I do stupid shit around the house, like with my daughter, like, you know, if she's, you know, cooking something, I'll start saying whatever she's cooking, and next thing you know, I'll use that like rhythm. Mm-hmm. I won't use those words.
But the cadence of it.
Yes. Yeah. And then I'll put it in my phone, and then I'll piece words that make sense to that cadence, and I'll use it on a song later on. So, but then I go through these dark periods of like a year or 16 months, 18 months where I'm like, I got nothing. So this time around, I'm like, I have all these lyrics for the Hatebreed record. This record's been done. Who knows? Maybe after this Hatebreed record, I'll be smoked, but
I hope not.
I had an email correspondence back and forth once with Henry Rollins when we did the Black Flag cover for the Hatebreed covers album for the Lions. And I said, hey, let's do a track together and like we'll give the money to charity or whatever. And he was like, hey man, I'm done with music. Like, I have no music left in me. I'm done. Like, there's no music in me. And it scared the shit out of me. And I don't know why, but I was just like, fuck. Because he has a great career. Like, he writes books, he has TV shows, he's a really inspiring guy. But he's also like a workaholic and he does a podcast. And so I guess it's not that bad to be done with music. But to me, like, music is like, it keeps me sane. Like, even on the train down, I listen to Norma Jean, I listen to Fit for an Autopsy, I listen to the new Sepultura song, Isolation. It's hard. It's great. I listen to just so much new music. There's so new King Diamond, new Ozzy. There's so much good new music right now that I always want to be in that conversation. It's just inspiring to me. I'm like, how are they? Like Norma Jean, the song is so great. If anybody wants to listen to it, it's called Mind Over Mind. I'm like, they're experimenting with the lower tunings, but they're coming up with something new and fresh. And it's inspiring because then you go, I can do that. I can go into the studio. I can come up with new, fresh stuff. I just have to be willing to let the creative river flow, you know?
I love that. Sometimes I talk to artists and I ask them about, writing music and if they can listen to other artists when they're writing, and they're like, absolutely not. I can't do it. But, I can see absolutely getting inspired by others' work. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, like if I was writing the music portion for the new Hatebreed, I probably wouldn't listen to too many bands just because subconsciously, and I'm the one, who has the podcast where we're always like lyric policing, riff policing, so people are going to hold me, people are already breaking my balls about Strength to Draw the Line, which is, similar to Strength of the Mind, but it's actually a trilogy. Mm-hmm. So, like, I hope people understand that. And Strength is not retired yet. We have one more Strength. Rise is retired. Nobody used Rise. Where are we rising to? What are we?
We've reached the top now.
Yeah,
we don't need to
like
rise
what
anymore.
are like Rise? Pantera did it. POD did it. Lamb of God did it. Arch Enemy did it. Hatebreed has. Now is the time for me to rise to my feet. Rise is retired. Please.
That song is always on my workout playlist every time. Like ever since I heard that song the first time, I'm like, nothing gets me pumped. Like, I will be heard.
That's great. I appreciate that. I wish that everybody. Like, I see these Instagram videos with these jacked guys and these jacked girls, like these CrossFitters, and they're always playing Hatebreed. But then when I'm looking out at the show, I never see any fucking CrossFitters at the I'm like, where are they? I'm like, they just work out.
That's it.
Yeah, at night.
The artwork for the album itself, it repeats a lot of the themes that were on the first one. How much of a hand do you have in that? And, how much was it designed by you? How much of it was an outsider?
Well, thank you for noticing. The concept was, basically the flaming books and the hoodie thing. There's a hooded figure in the Chasing Demons video, so it kind of like connects to that. I won't say how yet, just in case we do with Lost Chapters 3. But the fact that I lost my original hard drive, that was another thing that happened before we did Lost Chapters. I sent it out to San Fran. And these forensic experts, I should probably plug the company, but I'm forgetting the name right now. I'm so sorry. But they saved the Mark Morton riffs, that like a bunch of like priceless stuff. I mean, imagine you're in a band and you could use a song written by Mark Morton, one of the greatest like modern metal, guitar players. And he didn't remember it. He was like, which demo? And I gave him the file name. He's like, no, that's not mine. I'm like, dude, it's definitely yours. He's like, well, that was a rough time. I don't remember, and I said, fuck, man. And so when I got it back and I had those things, I was like, this is a sign to release, the first Lost Chapters. And then I wanted the artwork to be, to kind of coincide with, kind of how like I was on the back of the Perseverance album and then the character in the video. And then just showing people like if we don't put out our ideas now, you're basically throwing them in the fire. And that's something that I think a lot of artists have faced, like not just musicians, but people who've written a script that's sitting around and they never, took it to anybody to get sold or get made, or people who've written books, or like I know someone who's like a great storyteller. I'm always saying, you should put out a children's book. Oh, I don't know. And I'm like, dude, do it now. What's stopping you? There's less gatekeepers everywhere. So yeah, the art is it's kind of symbolic of that.
So the album, Lost Chapters Volume 2, it's out December 13th. Is there going to be a Jasta and Friends tour behind this, or what?
Well, so before we were recording, I told you I had a long conversation with Kirk yesterday. Kirk Winstein from Crowbar, who we also did Kingdom of Sorrow together. They're doing the Crowbar record now. Kirk's solo record's done. It's coming out January 20th on E1. So shout out to E1 and everybody helping Kirk. And the record's great. It's really great. It's different from Crowbar, but I said, you got to tour this thing, dude. And he's like, well, it's hard because of the different instrumentation, and we'd have to have like a 6-piece band or 7-piece band. I said, what if I pay for the bus? You just learn like 5 songs. We'll share the band, and then you jump up and you do like 2-3 Kingdom songs, and Kirk's on a Jasta song called Spilled Blood Never Dries. I'll send it to you today. It's coming out on November 20th, but I'll send you the MP3 to check out. And the song's awesome. And I said you could do that, and then if you want to close the show, or I'll close the show, or Crowbar. If Crowbar wants to close the show, we do Kirk and Friends, Jasta and Friends, and then we do a Crowbar greatest hits set. I said, let's do like little clubs. Let's do like little bars, and I'll pay for the bus. And we'll do like whatever, 2 weeks. And he's like, Jasta, I like that idea, brother. Let's do it, man. And so I said, all right, man, let me see what I could do. So that was the idea. We'll see. But something else just popped up. The song with Heafy is charting now, which is crazy to me. Like, it's already like getting added at real rock stations, like big stations. So like it's nuts that I'm getting some offers, some nibbles, some bites.
I would love to see that run, man. I really hope that comes together, because that would be cool as hell.
Thank you. And Howard said he would come. Howard's like, if I'm around,
sold.
Like, but here's the thing with Howard. Can everybody, now that Howard has like kind of an Instagram that I don't know if he really looks at it. Could everybody go on there and be like, hey, can you perform even one Killswitch song? Like, the guys know it. Like, my band knows it. But he's like, that's their thing now, and I'm like, come on, dude. Like, this.
It's just one.
You could do one. It's not
like,
a big deal.
I don't think they'd even mind. Like, they wouldn't be mad if he was singing Killswitch tunes.
Right?
Yeah.
Or Holy Diver.
Sure.
I said, we were at Bloodstock. Howard's not going to like me to say this, but it's fine. I said, dude, they know Holy Diver. We're at Bloodstock. Mm-hmm. If we do Holy Diver, you can close the show. Nobody's going to be able to follow that. This is the most metal audience ever. It's one of the best festivals in the world. And he's like, nah, man, the Killswitch still plays it. I don't want to, he's such a nice guy. He's got such a good heart. He said, and I said, dude, they're not going to mind. I said, I'll text Adam D right now, but then now I'm sounding pushy. Right, yeah. Like, and I'm not getting any, because I can't sing like Dio, but I'll just fucking stand off to the side and be like the hype man or whatever, just to whatever. But
speaking of Bloodstock, can we have more videos of the metal dudes doing non-metal things, please?
Yes.
That's so funny.
Thank you. I need to do more. It's hard because it just didn't. I don't know shit about YouTube. I really missed the boat on YouTube. So I need like one of these YouTube kids to like. We got one. I need you to show me the ropes and show me like how to get in the algorithms, because we did all this shit and for whatever reason we can't get more than like 20,000 views on it. And I know there's way more people than that would like the show and that know all of our bands. But it's hard. I know that the YouTubers are complaining about their views going down and the algorithms constantly changing and whatnot. It's not easy, but I thought, man, if we could get a decent budget, and we had so many funny ideas, and people were hitting me up like, yo, big rockers were hitting me up like, we'll go get it, fucking spa treatments and all this stuff, and I was like. And I called a couple places. I said, hey, can I bring these guys in and we'll film? They're like, yeah. But, yeah.
Please make that happen.
I'll try, but it's hard, man. It's hard. Everything costs so much. If we got more subscribers to the network, to the podcast network, if we could kind of go into more video and not just podcasts, that would be big.
I do enjoy that the podcasts are on the YouTube channel now. But like, I would like some visuals and like, do you film yourself while you're recording them or no?
I don't, because I've tried and there's always some sort of problem. And like my whole thing is, I'm a caveman trying to evolve into the, I think I'm good with Twitter. I'm okay with Facebook. I'm okay with Instagram. But with YouTube, I just missed the boat. And it's a shame because some of the Hatebreed videos, you know, are in the tens of millions, and I know the audience is out there. But yeah, it's hard, man.
It's time to hire an intern, man.
I think so. Yeah, we were talking on the way over. I need an assistant. The problem is when you get an assistant, everybody goes, "Oh, that douchebag's got an assistant," and then they don't want to deal with the assistant, and then you just look like a douchebag with an assistant. But I really need an assistant.
You just need some help. That's all. It's not like an assistant. You're just a technical advisor.
I have so many people on Snapchat. Do you know Snapchat?
Oh, yeah.
I get hundreds of messages a day on Snapchat, right? I'm like, I don't know anybody that has Snapchat, but people have it. And I can't even, I'm trying to post the link. I don't even know how to post you'll have to show me. I don't even have to post the damn link in Snapchat. They changed it. I could do it on Instagram, but, you know, that's why. Let a caveman live. Help a caveman out.
You make an honest effort, though. Like, I appreciate in the beginning of the podcast, you're reading tweets that you're getting, you're reading emails, or answering people's questions. So it's not like you're not interacting with your fans. It's just you need a little help. That's all.
I'm trying, man. I mean, I filled out journals. Like, I did a whole, like, anybody who pre-ordered the journal, I personalized all these journals. I'm trying to go above and beyond, but yeah, it definitely, you don't realize that you write out a personalized journal, it takes 20 minutes, and then there's only X amount of blocks of 20 minutes in the day. Yeah. So, but hey, it's good problems to have, and I really hope people enjoy the record, and we got to make sure we get you the rest of the songs. Like, wait to hear the one with Corpse Grinder and the one with Max. It really came out cool.
I can't wait, man. Tell me what 2020 is going to look like for you.
So we got the world tours the Hatebreed World Tours getting announced on, I think, November. But I don't know when people are going to see this, but I think it's going to be announced November 20th, and then the record's going to come out, I think, in May. And in between all the world tour dates, I might, you know, pop up and do some Jasta shows. So we'll see.
Nice. So a lot on the plate already.
It's a lot. The world tour there's dates being added. It's already Europe. It's definitely going to Australia, and then it's definitely doing the United States. So who knows? There might be South America. There might be some stuff in Canada. There might be maybe other stuff in the UK. We'll see. But people are they're gonna flip out when they see this lineup. I was like, wow. People are gonna lose their minds, and nobody's guessed it yet, which I'm surprised.
That might be a hint already.
Well, we'll see. No, someone was saying it was Slipknot, and I was like, it's not Slipknot. And then they're like, then who? Because people are looking at like what tours are on sale and who hasn't announced what and what release dates. It's not Slipknot, and it's not Lamb of God. Although Lamb of God, I did do a song on their new album, and I'm hearing that their album's going to drop in May as well too. So who knows? Maybe later in the year. We haven't done anything with Lamb of God and Hatebreed together since like 2012, so it would be cool to do something with them.
That'd be fantastic. Absolutely.
And I did a Jasta show with Lamb of God and Behemoth, and I was wondering, I'm like, I wonder how they're going to react to some of the lighter material. And the show was fucking great. It was really cool. People were open to it, so I was happy.
Do you find ever like doing a live show that there's like these days, is there anybody who's just not feeling it, or you know, the old days people flip you off, you know, if you're Metallica and Megadeth rivalry, but these days I feel like it's a lot more amiable, you know?
Yeah, you know, the Dropkicks Clutch tour was interesting because we hadn't gotten a support slot on the entire Concrete Confessional album cycle, and so we were like, we just preached the Converted, and believe me, that's great. The Converted are great. We love them, and we have the best fans in the world. I mean, the whole run was great. The whole 3-year album cycle was great, but we thought, all right, let's just try. Let's see. Can we go out with such a diverse audience, and can we win people over? And just the merchandise numbers alone, and then the streaming numbers, like seeing all the people adding us every night from those markets and stuff, I was like, wow, that's really cool that people hadn't heard of us and came. And then there was people that came out of the woodwork too. But yeah, there was a couple shows where there was like seats and stuff, and you have like the older couple and they're sitting there, and I'm like, listen, unless you lost a leg in Iraq, like there's no reason to be sitting at a fucking rock concert. Like, and if you did lose a leg, I'm sorry, thank you for your service. I don't want to call anybody out. I love you, and then a lot of them stood up and were actually rocking out and like would write me on Instagram, you won me over tonight. And you look at their page and it's Dropkicks, Flogging Molly, Social Distortion, and it's no like heavy bands. So I thought that's cool, man. There's something happening right now where anybody who says like this rock is dead thing and all that stuff, It's not, man. I mean, we played huge. We played in an arena with Dropkicks, a bunch of arenas. It's rock and punk and hardcore and metal. It's about to hit another peak.
I think so too, man. You know, every time I go to a show and I just look around and I see not only just like, you know, the hardcore fans, but a diverse audience. And I'm like, you know what? Heavy music is for everybody. Man.
Yeah.
So that's what gets me excited. Jamey Jasta, new album, The Lost Chapters, Volume 2. It's out December 13th. Man, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You got it.